Grandpa Shorts. Last night was the debates, and I know this is coming a day late. I had some medical things I had to take care of, but the debates were last night, and I watched them. I watched people don't watch the first one where you have the smaller, contestants in there, but, they actually are pretty big because they get more talk time and they actually get more reaction time. If it was me, I would much rather be on that one because you actually get to talk past your limit almost every time. And apparently Rand Paul had a fit because he had to be on that. There was going to be a 4-panel and he was going to be on it. So instead of being on that panel, he said, forget it, I don't want to do it if I'm not going to be on the main stage. Which, I do agree with his argument because his numbers are bigger than Kesich's numbers. John Kesich, John Kesich is a waste of time. Let me tell you, I don't know about the rest of these. Some people may disagree with me on this, and it's okay. But John Kesich is talking, all he does is talk about his resume and what he supposedly done. Now, somebody caught him big time last night about he was supposed to be in a committee, and he did this committee for 18 years. Well, I researched it today. A couple of other newspapers researched it today, and we can't find this committee that he was on, and I can't find his name anywhere inside of a committee that has to deal with what he was talking about last night. So, as far as I'm concerned, John Kesich is a waste of time. He must have paid off the RNC something fierce in order to get where he's at, because he's just a waste. And as far as I'm concerned, he wouldn't be that great of a president. He would be another one of those talkers. Talk, and that's all you get from him. I did have one thing that I agreed with him on when he said that he brought an evangelist together along with some police and some other people together. And they tried to resolve some issues. And, rather than fighting, they all got together and talked. And he came out with a couple of resolutions. I think it was 25, he said. I'm not sure if this is true or not because I wasn't there. And I couldn't find anything on that either. So I don't know if he's telling the truth on that as well. But, I do agree with doing stuff like that. But anyway, let me give you the results of the fifth and final debate. Trump, naturally, came out on top. The last couple he didn't. I don't think so. I don't think he did either. But this one he was actually alive on. He actually debated. That's what these things are about. Debate. You're supposed to argue the facts, not really be nasty about it, but argue the facts that are given to you and questions that are asked of you. Sometimes, the media, since the media puts these things on, they put on questions that they want attacks to develop because it makes good for TV. Now, okay, it makes good for TV, but what about the real issues? That's what America is hungry for, is the real issues, and the media doesn't get it. So that's why I think the media ought to be out of these debate things. They should sponsor them, and that's it. And a professional should actually do these debates because, the last few times, actually, this last debate that Fox did was actually a really good debate. It was really to the point. There was a couple of, questions in there that I thought were stupid, and they don't belong in this type of environment. But I was getting that plus more with the other debates and the other news organizations. But anyway, like I said, Trump came on top. What they're saying, I don't know how true this is, that Cruz was right behind him, and right behind him was Rubio. And then after that, believe it or not, Christie. I really liked Christie when his balls came out of his sack and said, hey, you know what, Mr. President? And he was right, too. He's so right, and he hit it right on the button, and nobody ever reacted to it. But he told the president, basically, your first 4 years, you had everything you wanted. You had the Congress, you had the House, you had everything you wanted, and you could not manage to get anything through. Then America replied with an overwhelming amount of Republicans in every different sector. Everything from the Senate down to your local politician inside your city coordinations office. That's how much the American people decided that they didn't like what Barack Obama was doing anymore. His second term came through like George Bush's did. He squeaked through. He really squeaked through. And his overwhelming promises, well, you know, how do I put this? When a politician promises you something, you should take it with a grain of salt, because they normally don't even give you half of them. And there's many reasons why they don't, because for one, you know, I don't blame a lot of them because they've got so many roadblocks that they've got to jump over, so many hoops. But this president seems to be stir happy with the executive orders, and a lot of them are unconstitutional. And he is, you know, supposed to be educated in the Constitution, supposed to be a scholar. Well, his scholarship has taught him how to go around the Constitution, how to fishtail it, how to work it, how to manipulate it to where it works for him. And do you agree with that? Really? Do you agree with that? If you do, wow, we really don't live in America anymore. We live in a democracy, and we have a dictator. That's pretty much what it amounts to. So, with these new debates, it actually points that Donald Trump actually came out pretty damn good. I don't really support Donald Trump, but you know what? He did do a good job last night. He got into some of the action, mixed it up, rather than calling each other names, he got into the mix with some facts. And he straightened out the New York Times, which I loved it, because I read, things out of the New York Times, the Post, all these other groups, news organizations, and the New York Times, man, I tell you, they beat up on Republicans like you cannot believe it. I think there must be one Republican in the whole New York Times, and that's the guy that writes the comics, because he's pretty funny. But other than that, it's all Democrats, because the hate that comes out of there is just unreal. That if you want to know how bad Democrats hate people and other organizations other than Democrats, read the Washington Post or the New York Times, because you'll get loads of it. It's just amazing. But anyway, that's how the debates came out. There was a mishap in there, and good old Rand Paul, he boycotted the debates because he wanted to be part of the second part. Anyway, like I said in the beginning, he should have been in there and under the main stage, not the secondary stage. But still, like I said, Carly Farina did a really good job in soaking up the time, because she said everything that was on her mind, including digging into Hillary Clinton, which was just awesome. And I loved it. It was something that everybody should have watched, and her numbers went up because of it. I mean, her numbers, they jumped really high. I think the one that had the most advantage of everything was probably Chris Christie, because of what he did and what he said. He didn't back down on anything, and he gave facts and numbers. That's what I like. With Rubio, I really don't, he talks a good talk, very compelling, very convincing, but there is no substance to his talk. Okay, you're going to repeal everything and replace it with what? He hasn't given anything. And if you're buying into that, that's what we've been buying into for years and years. We need to get these candidates to talk about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, what it's going to cost us. That's what we need to do. I mean, Bernie Sanders is being pressured right now by Hillary for doing it. But Hillary really isn't producing much of anything except for fictitious numbers. And if you think that they're real numbers, go see to her website what she's doing and what she says it's going to cost. And then you do person by person cost in your county alone. Just in your county, do you have to go to a census, get the census amounts, and then do per person medical cost, and watch the difference. Her numbers are so fictitious, it's just crazy. So she's actually going to raise taxes. She has to. She's got no choice. But that's just the way politics runs. So anyway, I don't know who your pick was last night, who won the debate. I really thought Christie did an excellent job. I'm not a Christie fan either, but I really thought he did an excellent job last night, and Carly did a good job last night, and so did Trump, and so did Cruz. I really think they came off hitting home run. Bush came out swinging, but he got the first base, and that's as far as he got. That's the only way I could put it, because he really didn't hit anything out of the park. He really tried in the beginning, because he came out swinging like a contender, but nothing. And when it comes to Carson, the guy's really smart, and he's really a nice guy, I'm sure, and really a professional. But he's just too mellow for being a president. We need a president with a hell of a set of balls that's going to get up there and speak loudly and call it like it is. And I'm telling you one thing: Bush isn't it. Carson isn't it. Farina, she isn't it. Kasich definitely is not. Rand Paul, no. And let's see, there was another one. Two other guys that were in there too. I'm sorry, my computer's going crazy right now. But there was so much junk going around, it was just insane. Santorum, that's it, Rick Santorum. I like Santorum, but you know what? He speaks in riddles, and that I don't like. So, geez, as you can hear it, my computer's going nuts. So, I don't know what the heck's going on. But anyway, with that, I'm going to close it out. I hope you enjoyed the debates, because now comes the real truth of the matter. Will the RNC choose a real candidate, or will they back down from their promises, which they've done many times in the past? And that's why people don't trust the RNC or the Republican Party anymore, because they've backed down from their promises so many times before. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. And if so, join me and the middle of the group. I'm an independent, and we'll put in the person that we believe can run the presidential office. And when we make promises that, hey, you know what? If you want to come over and you want to be our candidate, if your numbers are right, and if you could prove to the American people that you are the one, then we'll put you in. But the Republican Party, if you don't kiss their butt, and if they don't like you, if you don't go part of the establishment, then they're not going to have you. Same with the Democratic Party. If you're not in there kissing the chairman of the DNC, if you're not in there kissing her butt and waxing her nails and all that crap, whatever women do, I mean, she's kicking you out too. That's just a very, very crooked thing on both sides. So anyway, I hope everything went well for you last night. With me, I'm doing better, feeling better, now that, my doctor has prescribed something better to help me get through all this. So anyway, this is Dr. Ken. No, it's not Dr. Ken. This is Grandpa Ken with Grandpa Shorts. I'm out.